Before you collect any basket grass or any other plants from the bush, you really should go to your local Aboriginal organisation and find out the process. It's not something you can just go out and grab. You need to make sure you find out the process and seek permission.
What we normally do is when we gather this grass that Lisa's been talking about, in our language, Gunnery language, we call it barn grass. But it's, what do you call it? Lamandra. Yeah. And to start off with the basket, you have to collect your grasses, but never take all the grass, like the grasses and that we have here that's behind us. Don't take the whole lot. Don't get too greedy, because otherwise that basket, the grass won't grow back. So you just take what you need and always leave plenty for it to grow. Regrowth underneath. That's right. So what you do when you get the grass, you have to dry it. So this bunch here, this has been cut, and you tie it with I've tied it with the grass itself because it's really, really strong. You let that sit for, I don't know, 7 days, maybe a couple of weeks. With me, I just cut it and leave it and let it dry out. And when it dries out, it goes this sort of colour. But when you put it in the water, because you've got to put it in the water to soak it, and it comes back nice and flexible. So when you put it in water and soak this after it's been dried, you can then work with it like we are going to work with it now, green. This is what it looks like when it's dried. We can't work with this, or we can work with this, right? So at the moment I'm showing you girls a different stitch, and we're going to be starting this, starters, right? Shall we?
Yep.
Right. So you've got your circles?
Yep.
Right. This here we call tails. And the hard end on your grass we call needle. So the needle is the one that's going to be, you're going to be working with. So what you do, you can feel your grass, you've got an inside, and you've also got a deadly smooth side. That deadly smooth side is the side that we're going to be showing on our baskets. Okay? And when you were growing up as kids, did you used to help with getting the grass and all that?
Yes, we used to have a lot of fun running around cutting the grass with old people.
Yeah.
I can remember them sitting down making baskets and trying to show us what to do, but being children, we was just enjoying the bush.
Yeah. When you guys get your needles, this is what I say to little kids. Poke it up through the centre, aim for your neck, but don't stab yourself in the neck.
Smooth side, which way? Sorry.
Smooth side out, bring it right to the end, pull it through. Always work under and bring it up. Stop when you get so far, put that, that's it, stop. Put that bit there in your tail. And then you just go around and keep going up through the centre, pull it, and it gives you a deadly base underneath the starting of your basket. You're a follow start yarder, you. Any of you guys made baskets before?
Yes, I have with my mother.
Yep.
Yep. I used to take my mother to get the basket grass, take her all different places. Like the more flexible was near the rivers or the ocean, and that was easier to prepare, and it's been passed on from generation to generation. My mum was taught by her mother, and she taught me how to do it, and she's worked alongside of with Uncle Wally. My mum's name is Patsy Harrison, and my uncle's name is Uncle Wally. They work together as a team making baskets together, and I'd never seen a square one been made before, and my mum actually worked out how to get a square one, and I was really blown out of the water, you know.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and most of what she made little ones that, you know, she'd sell when she'd be working there, and it was really good. It was fascinating, and you know, now that I've been taught, you know, she taught all her grandchildren and her family to do the weaving, you know, and how to get it from here to this stage.
Yep.
You know, and but my mum never made an eel trap, but she's always acknowledged, you know, the elders that have made the eel trap, and people like young Darlene that's made one eel. I'm very proud of her. And I'd like to introduce Donna, who's one of the sisters, because when we all sit in a circle like this, we all become one, and we are strength in numbers. And this is Auntie Lana here, Auntie Eileen, and Auntie Helen Morgan. My name's Deborah Harrison, Auntie. This is Karen, this is Sue, and this is Tracy, Lisa, gee, and this is Kylie, and this is Chantal. I'll pass it over to Auntie Eileen, Auntie Lana. Back to you.
About it, really. I'm just learning myself. I done one a fruit basket. It was years ago. I passed it on to somebody else. That was the only one I done until now. So starting all over again. That's the only one I done. Well, we don't get much time to do this sort of stuff now. Well, we should be, you know, making time and that, but we, like I said, live in the towns. We don't get out to the bush very often, you know, and we should be, I reckon. I'd like to see more of them coming, the younger ones, you know, and doing it. But it's just up to them, I suppose, if they want to keep it going. We're getting on now. We're not going to be around forever. You know, it's going to be, it'll completely be lost if we don't. You know, so
That's true. In every one of these baskets, I feel that my mum's in there with my heart, that she's proud of me. She was around when I started the eel net. And this here, I only take it around for show to show that our kids that, you know, and sitting around basket weaving, there's a lot of stories to this because I started when I worked at Now Primary School. Then we went on a camp up near Bucket, and this is where I've gathered all the grasses from, and it goes to Cape Conran, and it also comes down here to Lake Tyers where we had a session down here, and it just goes on and on. This has taken me 15 years to make, because every time I go camping I pull it out. I didn't make it in a day, I didn't make it in a month. It's taken me 15 years to put my heart in to do something that I've always wanted to do. And this is, yeah, an eel trap. And the fish would come down, because they couldn't jump over the top of where they've blocked off the little canals, they'd have to go through, and with the hollow in this, the fish would go through there. There's a hole in the end. There's normally a round trapdoor on the end of it. But when they move back, they grab the net, they'd take it to the bank, they'd empty out all the fish, they'd take out what they wanted, and they'd put back what they didn't need. Then they'd go and clean that river back up, and they'd take their food, their catch back to the camp and share it with all the campers. And that's how they'd do the eels, catch their eel trap with their traps. This one here, a bit different. I made this one, just thought I'd have a go, and did I have a go? This one here, if anybody knows Cape Conran area or where there's rocks, we've tried this one out, definitely works. In amongst the rocks, when the tide comes up, you sit this in the rocks. See how we've got the hole in the bottom? When the tide comes up, we put a rock in there. When the tide comes up, this would be covered over. When the tide went out, you go out when the tide's gone. You look into your basket, all the water will be run out, your fish will be still sitting in here. You take your rock out and take out what fish you wanted, lift that up, and it lets out whatever fish that are undersized or you don't want. So that was another way of catching fish from off the ocean. And this here's the eels from the river.
To be honest, I feel like I'm connected back to my family, and I feel really privileged to have my aunties around. But it just reminds me of how important basket weaving is, but you don't realise how much you actually forget about everything. You just chill, yeah, and it's good. And you think positive things, not negative, yeah. And I love the fact that we're all sitting around here, just listening, taking it in. It's great.
Kylie's helped me out a lot here. It's really relaxing. Once I get the hang of it, I'm in the zone. I just want to keep doing it.
You won't be able to put it down. I even forget to cook the kids' tea sometimes. It's that good.
Well, these possum skin cloaks, they were made in 2006, and they were specifically made for the elders that were in the opening ceremony for the Commonwealth Games. And this one was made for my mother. There's stories on it, the blue wren, right? It takes 39 pieces of pelts. The pelts didn't come from here, they came from New Zealand. And because they're not allowed to take the pelts from here because they're protected. So they had to get them sent over by freight from New Zealand. And they've got stories on them. This one here tells about the rock. This story here, I know this one because this tells about the rock at Delicate. There's a big cave there and there's a big rock in front of it, and it's got the blue wren on it, and the shells and the trees and the boomerangs and the meeting places, and it's got the boggon moth on it, which is there. Nearly every part of the pelt, the possum skin rug is has something drawn on it, but I don't know. I haven't. And there's got a canoe tree on it there, scar tree there, right? And it's got the dolphins here swimming, and the fish that we caught. That was part of our survival. Like before white man came along, right? These pelts were made from the original here, but they were made to protect the people when they were moving country, and at night to keep them warm and their families, warm, and we traded with other tribes. We used them as ceremonial, with the ceremonial rituals. And the basket, my grandmother, my mum told me a story about my grandmother with one of the baskets, that they had no food one day, and that she had to trade one of the baskets so that she could get food. So they were, a survival school, by bartering to, and they used to come in here on boats into Lake Tyers here, and they used to trade with the non-Aboriginal people, when they'd have all their little trinkets, and they used to trade their baskets and their boomerangs and their artefacts, and all that. And it was part of survival,
Our cloak, ours is Crowatungalang, and that's New Morella, Orbost area. And we have the story of the Snowy River on ours, and my mum wore that in the 2000 games. Oh God, I was so proud of her that night. She was waiting for us to be bombed, if you remember back that far. But with these cloaks, all our community put into it, We all did a design, like as you can see on this cloak here. Every cloak, with everybody's, what they've put in, there's the eel trap. There's an eel trap in ours. And there's a story to every one of these cloaks. With ours is the Snowy River. And with the snow, we call that daughter, which means daughter, where the young girl is leaving her home and she's going out to the ocean. So that's our story of the Snowy River. We also have the bogey's moth, where our clans and that went up, like winter time, ate the moths and it comes down. We also have the story of, well, this one here with the sacred tree. We also have that too, and that's the spirits from our elders. We also have that on our story too, and what we ate, our clan, our seafood and all that. We also have the blue wren because that's our totem. And in our language, like the wren, that's called yirang. You got to roll your tongue.
Yeah.
Yirang. They've named that area in up at Cape Conran. And that's like a dead place where everybody goes and they say, oh, we're going to Yirang. We think, little do you know, Aboriginal person named this place. Yeah, but a lot of our places are all named after Aboriginal people.
For me personally, this is very de-stressing. It's, I find it's a bit frustrating, but I find it quite, I'm not thinking about anything else. So I'm definitely going to take this home and continue to do it. And yeah, when I'm feeling a bit stressed, I'll think I'll pick this up.
That's the best thing about it.
Yeah, it's definitely, and just feeling the connection with family here and connection to country. It's definitely something that would be good to, if you're feeling stressed about giving up cigarettes, this is definitely something you should give a go. And because you don't have a free hand, you're not thinking about cigarettes, you're not thinking about anything else. You're really concentrating on, and I've already mucked up, I can see. So you've got to really concentrate. Takes your mind off everything else.
Best thing is there's no timeline, eh?
Yeah, there's no time.
No time.
There's no time at all. Like, you just keep doing it until you
Get bigger and bigger.
yeah.
Count your roads as you're going around.
I've had